Well, we want to take time to bring it on with some of the email questions that you've submitted. Pat, this first one is from Linda, who says, why are so many churches no longer doing hymns? I like the new songs, but would like one hymn each Sunday. Also, very few Christmas songs are sung anymore. My heart is breaking for the children never singing these great songs. They would come to my mind in times of trouble, but the new ones aren't easy to memorize. Some have put in requests, but no one hears. Please answer, as I'm getting to the point of feeling empty each Sunday, and it's not the way to start the week.
Well, I'm sorry about the hymnody, but the truth is we've moved on to some of these worship songs. And, you know, the great Psalms, Charles Wesley wrote 6,000 hymns.
Wow.
And they were just the great hymns of the church. And you see some of these, oh, for 1,000 tongues to sing my great Redeemer's praise, the glory of my God and King. I mean, they were worship that lifted people's hearts up to the Lord. Today I've got that joy, joy, joy down in my heart. They're so centered on personal experience, where the other will worship toward God. Mm-hmm. And we've lost that. And you say, well, how come? I don't run the church, so I don't know. But I some of the stuff they call worship, it goes on, and it just drives me crazy. I mean, I go to churches and they sing and sing and sing, and the stuff is so discordant, it doesn't fit together, and it doesn't, you know, when I learned in seminary about worship, you're supposed to structure it, and you bring people up to a point where you're praising God, and you bring them up, and then there's a time where you do something. But this other is you get them to a point and then bring them back down again. And there's the people leading this worship don't understand the technique, in a sense, of worship with song. But in the old days, they did. Oh, that will be glory for me. That was the song of the Welsh revival, and they sang those beautiful hymns. So anyhow.
They are remarkable. I mean,
they are. We need to get them back. Okay.
Okay, this is Stephen, who says, my brother-in-law says Jesus was born in April. A customer where I work said she heard April 6th. The church changed the date to December 25th near the winter solstice, probably to Christianize the pagan celebration. Your thoughts?
You're probably right, but I don't know about April. I don't know. But, you know, the shepherds were abiding in the field, watching over their flocks by night. And if it was the dead of winter, they probably wouldn't have been doing that. It could have been in April. It really doesn't matter, frankly. I do think that with Saturnalia, I think that the church wanted to Christianize an existing festival, and so they picked up one that was, you know, around the winter solstice, and the change. This is a big deal. I mean, you go from fall to winter, and then you come back to spring, and you know, it's a transition period, and so the Catholic Church was masterful in Christianizing pagan festivals and pagan events. Perhaps so much so that they made some mistakes. But in this one, that's what we're dealing with. But yeah, I don't know. Is it April? Is it May? Is it June? Is it December? I mean, it doesn't matter. He was born, he lives, and he's alive today.
Okay, this is Amy Pat, who says, I feel like I'm having a hard time developing a relationship with God because every time I pray, I feel like my prayers are insignificant. Why should God care about my need to be more patient with my children when there are children dying of starvation? I'm trying to revive my relationship with God after too many silent years, and I'm wondering, why do my needs matter more than others?
Well, you're a child of God, and your needs matter a lot. You know, I'm concerned about my kids. I know I'm concerned about the kids of everybody else, but come Christmas and others, you give presents to your children, and you want to make sure your children get educated and your children get fed and so forth. You look, and the Bible says if a man doesn't look after his own, he's worse than an infidel. So God is the same thing. He looks after those who are his. He also cares about the whole world, but at the same time, he loves you and he cares about you, and what you want is important to him. So don't downplay it, but recognize indeed you are an insignificant little speck on a tiny little speck in the middle of a gigantic universe. Stay humble.